It was a cold day in September 1991. Deep in the Ötztal Alps, two hikers stumbled upon something that would change everything we thought we knew about human history. Half buried in ancient ice, a body lay frozen. At first it seemed like a recent mountaineer, a tragic accident of modern times. But what they had found was far older, over 5,000 years older. The body was that of a man who lived and died around 3,300 BCE, older than the pyramids, older than Stonehenge. Preserved not by human intention, but by nature itself, perfectly mummified by snow, ice, and time. He would become known as Ötzi, the Iceman, the oldest preserved human ever discovered. His skin was leathery and dark from centuries in the ice. His fingernails, his hair, even the contents of his stomach remained intact. Scientists were astounded. This was no savage brute. He stood about 5'3" and was roughly 45 years old when he died. His body was covered in over 60 tattoos, strategically placed near joints and pressure points, possibly for pain relief or healing, suggesting a form of prehistoric acupuncture. These weren't markings of decoration. They were evidence of knowledge, understanding, and perhaps even spiritual practice. His clothing was layered and tailored, crafted from the hides of goats, bears, and deer. This wasn't a man barely surviving. This was a man who understood survival, a man whose knowledge of his environment rivaled that of any modern mountaineer. But what truly shocked the scientific world was what he carried in his hand: a copper axe. Not just any tool. This weapon was forged from over 99% pure copper, a level of craftsmanship unheard of for that time. It predated all known copper tools by centuries. The handle was carved from yew wood, a tree known for its flexibility and strength, designed for precision and durability. It was as if someone had placed advanced technology into the hands of a Stone Age man. The presence of such an axe suggests Ötzi may have held status. A chieftain, a warrior, a hunter, or even a sacred figure with ceremonial power. This axe posed questions that still puzzle archaeologists today. How did he obtain such a rare item? Was it traded across hundreds of miles? Crafted locally with skills lost to time? Was it a symbol of authority or a tool of survival? The axe alone challenged everything we believed about the sophistication of early European societies. And then came the discovery that turned this from a preservation miracle into a cold case. Ötzi hadn't died of exposure, he had been murdered. A flint arrowhead was found lodged deep in his left shoulder, piercing a major artery. He would have bled out within minutes. There were also wounds on his hands, a deep gash on his skull, and blood from multiple individuals on his weapons and clothing. This wasn't an accident. This was an ambush. This was calculated. He fought, he defended himself, and then he ran. He was hunted like prey. His final moments were filled with pain, adrenaline, and the bitter cold of the mountain that would become his tomb. What led him to that lonely spot in the Alps? Was he escaping a betrayal? Seeking refuge from danger? Or was he confronting an enemy he knew he couldn't outrun? Theories vary. Some believe he was a tribal leader, betrayed by his own people in a power struggle. Others suggest he was a shaman, a man of mystical knowledge, feared for what he knew. Some even claim he was involved in a ritual gone wrong. Whatever the truth, the mountain claimed him. His tools lay beside him, his bow, his dagger, a quiver of unfinished arrows. He was prepared for a journey, perhaps a battle, but not the fatal encounter that ended his life. His stomach held the clues to his final moments. Inside were the remains of ibex meat and einkorn wheat, a high-calorie meal, likely prepared just hours before his death. This wasn't a man starving or wandering aimlessly. He had access to food, shelter, and tools. He had allies, a home, a reason to live. He was well-nourished, well-equipped, and well aware of his environment. And then, someone ended it all. In a matter of minutes, a life filled with knowledge, survival, and legacy was brought to an end. Even his tools tell a deeper story. The bow he carried was unfinished, suggesting he may have been working on it during his final journey. His arrows, some broken, some pristine, hinted a man caught between preparation and confrontation. The flint dagger, small yet deadly, was worn down, used many times, maybe even in that final fight. His pouch contained fungus with antibacterial properties, hinting at medical knowledge. Pieces of dried birch bark, known for its antiseptic qualities, were carefully stored. This was a man who not only hunted, he healed. Today, Ötzi lies in a climate-controlled chamber in the South Tyrol Museum of Archaeology. His body has become a window into the Copper Age. His DNA has been sequenced, his clothing reconstructed, his face digitally restored. Over 300 scientific papers have been published in attempts to understand who he was, where he came from, and why he died. Researchers continue to study the bacteria on his body, the minerals in his teeth, the isotopes in his bones, every tiny fragment offering a new clue. He is the oldest unsolved murder case in human history. A man who lived and died in a time before nations, before written language, before metal tools were widespread. And yet, he left behind a story richer than many kings of history. But for all the scans, tests, and theories, one truth remains. We may never know the full story. Ötzi is more than just a mummy. He is a messenger from the past. A reminder that long before written history, humans lived rich, complex lives. They fought, they hunted, they built, and they died. What Ötzi held in his hand was more than a weapon. It was a message. That humanity's story runs deeper than we ever imagined. That even 5,000 years ago, people were not primitive. They were resilient, intelligent, and endlessly mysterious. And perhaps that mystery is what keeps us searching. Searching not just for answers, but for connection, for understanding, for the echoes of those who walked before us. He walked through snow and silence. He looked death in the eye. And now, thousands of years later, we look back at him and wonder who we really are. If you enjoy stories that take you to the edges of history and beyond, stick around. There's so much more to come. Hit that subscribe button and be part of the journey.